A game. The Phoenix Suns get a big win over the Los Angeles Lakers in sort of a drama-filled game, sort of a sloppy game, if you will. Lots to talk about. We're going to wait about a minute or so before we really get going, but that's where I'll introduce my guest here, good friend of the channel, sort of a last-minute guest, too. I was kind of excited when you wanted to join the show tonight. Reliable Rants, one of the biggest, if not the biggest Lakers fan I know. What's going on, man? Long time no see. How you doing?
Been chilling. Still, just because I'm not uploading doesn't mean I'm not, still very much fan of this team, unfortunately. But excited to talk about everything and been chilling.
No, man, real talk. Thank you for being here. It always helps to have a guest, and especially someone who actually knows this Lakers team better than I do. And we're definitely going to talk about the Lakers. We have a whole segment dedicated to them because, your guess is as good as mine with this Lakers team. But we'll wait about a few more 20 seconds or so, and then we'll get started. Everybody in the chat, how you guys doing? Let me know what you guys are drinking out there. I posted this on Twitter. I was drinking a little bit earlier, and I got some nice responses. Lots of other Suns fans drinking. Reliable, you got some water or soda over there? What's going on, man?
I got a water bottle. That's about it.
Let's go.
Don't be drinking too much soda nowadays.
That's good, man. It's bad for you. I wish I would have learned that at your age. So cheers to everybody that's here. Appreciate everybody that's being here. I'm going to take a sip of this, and then we'll get started. All right. So the Phoenix Suns get a win over the Los Angeles Lakers, 115-105. I'm joined by my guest, Reliable Rants, one of the biggest Lakers fans that I know. So, Reliable, just right off the top, your quick reaction, quick thoughts about tonight's game, any takeaways? What are you thinking, man?
Overall, I think I'm pretty happy with how the Lakers played. If I'm looking at an overall scheme, I think against the Spurs, when we blew them out, I think we played a very similar way. We tried to get AD the ball early on, and we played aggressive. We're just we don't. I'm overall happy with how we played, just because we don't have a good enough team to beat you guys. And we overall, I like the game plan that we had in the first half. Feed AD. Russ has been looking amazing as of late. Lonnie has been looking amazing. Austin Reeves has been looking amazing. Over the past 5 games, we were on a 3-game winning streak. So overall, I wasn't mad about how we played. Obviously, we were in it the entire game. And out of the third quarter, we went down by 10. But our third quarter offense has been like the worst in the league. So I was pretty happy that, we stayed in that and we didn't let y'all go on one of your big runs, especially since we were in the Valley and we know how crazy those fans can get. So overall, I was satisfied. I still think we have a lot to work on, but no LeBron. And we kept it to the last minute. I'm happy. AD had a historic historic game, and he wasn't even as aggressive as we wanted him to be in the fourth quarter either. So it's he got injured, but overall, I'm not mad. I think Austin Reeves could have been more aggressive, but I'm not mad. That overall thoughts.
Well, speaking of Anthony Davis, I am glad you brought that up because I did do some prep work before the show. Obviously, the Lakers before this game were on a 3-game winning streak, and I saw that Anthony Davis has been playing out of his mind. 30 points, 15 rebounds in each game. He was averaging 35 points and 17 boards recently.
5 blocks, 5 steals.
Right, putting up crazy. And I did see the highlights to that Spurs game. Looked very aggressive, doing a lot of great things out there. And you know me, I'm a big NBA history fan, so I do got to bring this up. Anthony Davis is the 3rd Laker in franchise history to record 30-plus points, 15 rebounds in 3 consecutive games, joining the GOAT, Elgin Baylor, and Shaquille O'Neal. I had to bring up Elgin Baylor.
I thought it was going to be Wilt and Kareem, honestly.
I know, right? But yeah, I had to bring that up. But no, he's been playing really. I even jokingly tweeted out, I know you're not on Twitter, but I joked out. I said, Anthony Davis is really going to have 40-plus points and 20-plus rebounds on us, isn't he? And he almost did. He was absolutely incredible tonight. 38 minutes, 11 for 17 shooting, 15 free throws, which we'll talk about later. 37 points, 21 boards, 5 steals, 5 blocks. I don't even know what to say.
And he could have had more. I mean, in the fourth quarter, especially, I thought Russ is obviously really good at getting to the basket, but he was taking a lot of okay shots and not passing them up for better shots.
Right.
Off the roll, getting the ball to AD is way more beneficial than Russ, throwing his body at the paint, which he's been good at. But I just think there were so many more opportunities to get AD the ball. And even if it's not there, just try to find ways to put the ball in his hands, because he's going to draw a foul or get a bucket every time. Right. And I thought Russ was being a little bit selfish in that fourth quarter, unfortunately. But
if I'm correct, is Russell Westbrook averaging like 16 and 8 off the bench? I know he's been super productive.
That sounds about right, honestly. Maybe like 15 or 14, but yeah, he's been amazing.
I don't know what it is, man. I just feel like this Lakers team always seems to take it up a notch when they're playing the Phoenix Suns, man. They're a lot more aggressive. This was obviously a closer game than the Suns wanted it to be. Your Lakers closed out this halftime anyways on an 18-6 run. It was a really sloppy game for the Phoenix Suns, man. Lots of missed shots. The Lakers had 33 points in the second quarter. And look, I'm not going to lie. I am a really big Russell Westbrook fan. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I am, and I am glad that he's playing well off the bench. But yeah, he looked pretty good tonight. What did he finish with, by the way? I should just pull up the numbers right now.
I think he had at least like 20, right?
Let me just pull up the numbers real quick, and we will.
Honestly, like there's what's happened is there's still so many Westbrook fans. It's just the Westbrook haters have like overshadowed them.
Facts. That is facts right there. Here's the numbers, by the way.
21. Russell
Westbrook off the bench, 31 minutes. 8 for 20. Not very efficient, but still finished.
Honestly,
with 21
that's like what,
points.
45% or something. That's like not that bad. Like,
right.
It's fine.
That was something I was going to bring up with Devin Booker, who, by the way, Booker, and we'll get to like, most of the players and the teams. Booker's a little inefficient, but he still finishes with like 20 something points on whatever percentage that is. And Booker finished with 25 tonight.
What's funny?
Go ahead.
Something I like always think of is like whenever there's a player who can score like 20 or 25, like so quietly without you even like realizing it, that's like a superstar. Like literally, I couldn't even like Booker had 21, and I was like, wait, when does Booker even score?
That's
it's like
Booker.
That's what he does. Type stuff.
That's the reason I brought it up. And I've kind of mentioned that in some of my past live shows. I'm like, Booker had like 25 or he had like 29, but he shot like whatever for 20, 23 from the field. I'm like, that's what Devin Booker does. He's obviously not the most flashiest player in the league, but the dude is a superstar. And at one point earlier this season, he was playing at an MVP level, and he is just so damn good. Devin Booker, we could literally spend a whole hour talking about him. I know we're kind of jumping all over the place, but that's just how these live streams, these live shows do.
I found a crazy stat.
What was your crazy stat?
So, okay, Troy Brown Jr., Patrick Beverly, and Dennis Schroeder played a combined 70 minutes all together and scored a combined 0 points. It's a crazy stat. Like honestly, crazy stat.
When we spend a little time later talking about the Lakers, I did kind of want to get your thoughts on that because with all due respect to those players, it's just not good enough.
Honestly, Troy Brown has been amazing. Troy Brown has had like 20-point games.
Played for Washington, right?
Yeah, he was on Washington. He's come in the rotation, and Darvin Ham's played him like so much as of late. So he's been good. Beverly has been just disappointing this year, honestly. I mean, he had 10 rebounds, but like he's average. The numbers, obviously, Patrick Beverly has never been a numbers guy, but even on the defensive end this year, like Schroeder does the same thing he's been doing. We haven't seen that notorious Patrick Beverly, in my opinion, this year.
Right.
And then Schroeder's coming back from injury, so I don't know how to feel about him yet. But
right. No, I did kind of want to pick your brain about the Lakers, and we will kind of get into that in a little bit. It is good to hear that Troy Brown Jr. has been playing better for you guys. Somebody who I like on you guys, and this kind of goes along with like the statistics and everything, is Austin Reeves, man. I know that statistically he may not show it each and every single night, but the last time he played the Phoenix Suns, he had like 9 assists. And then tonight, the dude played hard. He only put up 11 and 4 plus 3 rebounds. In my opinion, that dude plays hard.
He's one of my favorite players in the league right now.
Dude,
honestly.
And again, this goes back to what I said earlier. For some reason, when he plays the Phoenix Suns, he just seems to play good. But have you seen a lot out of him? What have you
He's
seen
like
so
honestly
far?
what like currently he's my favorite Laker. I mean, honestly, like especially this is what I've seen improve from last year. He was like a twig. This year he's big, he's huge, and he drives to the basket and he draws contact. Did you see that play where he just bitched Torrey Craig? I yelled at the TV when he did that. Like,
Was that when he like pump faked? Was that on campaign or Torrey Craig?
no, it was
Was it
on
when he
Craig. It
pump
was like
faked
on
and
the
he?
left wing, and he like pump faked and just bah,
Yeah,
and he got the
I
layup.
saw that.
So it's
Yeah,
like last year, Austin Reeves was just like a skinny white shooter. This year, he's a big body defensive monster who could drive to the basket. You know, it's good
just
to see.
real quick, if I can nitpick at something on the Phoenix Suns end, and I know that Anthony Davis was unstoppable tonight. You kind of just brought up my next point. Some of the Suns' defense tonight was pretty rough. They were just letting players cut to the basket, especially Anthony Davis. But I
We
did
did
see
that
that a
too.
few times with like Russell Westbrook and Austin Reeves and everything. And then honestly, I'll be real with you. I didn't know that Lonnie Walker had 24 points. Like
Lonnie's a bucket. He's
I
a bucket.
I knew that he was a solid player, but I didn't know.
He's been our third best player the whole year, and it hasn't even been close. Really, he's put up consistently like 19 points a game over the past couple of weeks, and like he's efficient. He's a great 3-point shooter. He's everything. He's a perfect piece. It's just we don't have enough of those perfect pieces around us, you know.
Well, I know that when LeBron's out, someone else has to be your highest scorer besides Anthony Davis. So
Lonnie's a
shout out
bucket.
to Lonnie Walker because again, I knew he was on the court and everything, but I didn't know he had 24 points. That's pretty crazy. Probably because I was watching Westbrook and Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves all night.
Yeah.
Who would have known? But you know, I really wanted just to kind of get your quick thoughts in terms of the Lakers and everything and the statistics. Let me see real quick. The Lakers did struggle a little bit, or not. Sorry, let me rephrase that. They were terrible tonight from 3-point range, 4 for 24.
As per usual.
If I'm correct, I don't think they even score. Did they only hit like 1-3 in the second half? I could be wrong on that. But either way, terrible shooting night from three.
What did Westbrook shoot from three? He had a couple threes tonight.
Westbrook was 2 for 6, which, you know.
Yeah, not too good, but yeah, I mean.
Same thing as Lonnie
Westbrook
Walker.
shouldn't be shooting 6 threes. That shouldn't be happening.
And, you know, the fact that it was Lonnie Walker and Westbrook that were the only two Lakers that scored a 3, I think that.
We need Matt Ryan in there, man.
Dude, I love Matt Ryan. Dude,
I love Matt Ryan
story,
too. His
dude.
story is just amazing. He was an Uber Eats driver, and now he's hitting game.
I'm
winners.
laughing respectfully. I actually legit love that dude.
Yeah,
man. Where was he tonight? Why didn't he play?
He hasn't been in the rotation the last week. I think it's just because of his liability defensively, and he can't really penetrate. He's literally just a 3-point shooter. So, like, most of the 3-point shooters in the league have something else they can do, like on the defensive end. Obviously, that's where the term 3 and D comes from. But Ryan is kind of just a shooter, so it's hard to play him, you know, because he can't really do much else.
That's fair. That's fair. Real quick, shout out to my guy Cody, who says, "Happy Thanksgiving, my dude." Hashtag thankful for Suns Geek. Cody, you're a great friend to my brother and I appreciate your generosity, man. You totally didn't have to do that. He also follows that up by saying, "Don't forget to Hulk smash and roundhouse kick that like button." Appreciate you, man. I have to play my very expensive, totally well produced, like James Cameron and a bunch of other directors produced this drop that I'm about to play for you. Here's my super chat drop. Can you tell that was totally high produced and I spent like 20 hours on that thing? You know, like that's my super chat
I
drop.
actually believed you until I heard the confetti noise thing. I was like, oh, damn, this might be like some Christopher Nolan Interstellar.
Speaking of drops, you guys, if you've been watching the past few shows, I've been doing some drops on this show, inspired by my good friends over at the Suns Jam Session podcast. But real quick, Reliable, before we continue this show, and we don't have to spend too much time on this, my guy Cody is considering, the guy that left the super chat, he's considering starting a YouTube channel. Just real quick, you got any advice for him? Because that's my guy right there, man.
Don't get caught up in numbers.
Facts.
That happened to me, and it kind of turned into like a toxic domino effect, kind of forcing myself to upload.
Facts.
So do it for the passion. Do it because you want to do it. Don't do it for any other reason.
That's my guy right there, man. And you're 110% right. I agree with everything you said. But let's continue on here, Reliable. Cody, once again, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns for a minute, because let's be real. We could talk about how great Anthony Davis was, and I'm sure we will later, because I do kind of want to get your thoughts on the Lakers' future going forward. But let's just talk about the Phoenix Suns real quick. We don't have to talk about every player, and this is kind of where I want to play some drops and everything, but let's start with Mikal Bridges. We all know what he can do on the defensive end. He played 41 minutes tonight, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 5 made threes. Mikal Bridges all season long has been stepping it up offensively, especially when we need it. And tonight was one of those nights, man. Wasn't hesitant, just really took advantage of what the Lakers were giving him, in my opinion, was super aggressive, hitting his shots. And you know what? I feel a little silly because I'm talking about Mikal Bridges, but I forgot to play his drop. Check this out.
Suns fans, go Mikal Bridges, Mikal Bridges, Mikal Bridges. This Mikal Bridges, Mikal Bridges.
I remember you uploaded a video once. That was just that stupid video of Frank Kaminsky saying that with like a bunch of different clips of Mikal Bridges like playing over it for like a minute.
I was gonna say, do you remember that? Does that
That
sound
video
familiar?
is like legendary.
Guys, I had to play that. That's my drop right there. But real talk, Mikal Bridges was absolutely fantastic tonight and reliable. I don't know how many Suns games you've watched this year or how much you've really been following the Suns, but let me tell you, Mikal Bridges offensively has been really good for the most part. There are some games he struggles, but the growth from what we've been witnessing from Mikal Bridges has been really great this year. You know, with all due respect to Marcus Smart last year, I thought he got robbed of the defensive player of the year. So just real quick, have you seen much from Mikal Bridges this year? What did you see from him in tonight's game? Any takeaways from Mikal Bridges? Just real quick.
Yeah. I haven't watched many Suns games this year. Obviously, I've heard about Mikal going off this year, as he has. First takeaway is he has some, like, every time I see him, his arms get longer. I swear to God. His arms are ridiculously. Nah, but in all seriousness, like, no, he was everything. He was energy. He was, like Chris Paul was saying, he's a lockdown defender. And he was just, no, what I've seen from Mikal is confidence. Like, there was just one three that I saw. It was like, I think it might have been second quarter. He came around on the corner and just like contested, but just pulled it with like full confidence and hit that right in like someone's mouth. So it was like, I don't think that's a shot Mikal would have shot last year. I think his confidence has skyrocketed, and that's played a big way into his offensive production because he's always been that guy defensively, but now his three is consistent. Like it always has, but now it's like butter.
Yeah,
he's driving and he's making good decisions and confident decisions. I think it's just natural, like him maturing as a player and his talent finally, you know, coming to fruition.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And don't get me wrong. Let's be real. He's a human being. He's not Kawhi Leonard, so he's not a robot. He does have nights where he does struggle. He does have nights where he doesn't hit the three, or if he does hit the three, it's not very efficient. But you are right. He continues to be aggressive. He does cut to the rim. Yeah. I've always called him one of the best cutters in the NBA, which he really is. And in a way, I've actually seen a little bit less cutting this year because he's actually taking it, being how do I say this? Like he's shooting more mid-range shots and more three-pointers, if you will, but he still can cut to the basket. Last year, he did a lot of that. He was fantastic.
Yeah, he's also more of a he has the ball in his hands more, so he's not off ball more. Therefore, there's less cut opportunities, and he's less standing in the corner. I mean, I haven't watched all the games, but I mean, I'm guessing like since Chris Paul's been out, like I know he's been a bigger member of the offense.
And thank you for bringing that up. Let me pull up this little quotes and notes thing right here. And I want to make sure I actually get this quote right because Chris Paul was on the TNT broadcast tonight, which, by the way, we need more Chris Paul on that. I don't know if you agree with that.
That was such a disaster, that interview.
Well, what I was going to say was when he was actually talking about the Phoenix Suns, it was legit. But you are right. I think there was some communication issues.
So the guy, what's the announcer's name? I forget his name.
Kevin Harlan. Yeah, Kevin Harlan.
I think it is. Yeah, he was like announcing with the earpiece in, and then all of a sudden, first of all, they asked him about campaign twice, and then it was just that was a disaster. It was just funny to me.
I just want to make sure I get this quote right. And I did tweet it out earlier. So let me just share my screen real quick. Okay, we're looking good. So Mikal Bridges, or not Mikal Bridges, Cam, I can't even talk. Wow. Chris Paul said, and I quote, Mikal is so good, probably one of the most undervalued players in the league. He doesn't miss games. He doesn't miss games. And then as he said that, Mikal Bridges drained a three, and Chris Paul said cash. So I just wanted to share that. But you are right. That interview was pretty bad. I think he thought they asked about Bismack Biyombo. So he talked about
poorly organized interview. No, they said like Mikal's played like what 360 something games in a row or something. Which is ridiculous.
I know. And the
he
dude
hasn't gotten like sick or anything. Like he's just
the dude is an NBA Iron Man. There's a reason they call him that. And fingers crossed, I pray to the NBA gods that he does not get hurt or sick or anything. We could probably have a whole show about NBA injuries this year.
I remember a year or two ago, I was asking a question that stumped you. It was who would you rather have, Cam Johnson or Mikal Bridges? And now that's pretty obvious, I think.
By the way, if you want to check out part of that clip, it's probably somewhere on my channel in the funniest moments, because I'm sure Romp was doing something and I started laughing my ass off. Shout out to our guy Romp 2.0, by the way. Did you catch any of that Brooklyn Nets and Philadelphia 76ers game earlier tonight?
I did not today.
The return of 2-5
on Instagram of Ben Simmons.
Yeah. Philly Take with RB, who's a good friend of the channel, friend of Romp and myself. He was actually at the game tonight, and Philly fans were ruthless tonight. Let me just say that. Although Ben Simmons was kind of trolling a little bit.
I saw this one play where so Ben Simmons brought the ball to the court, and the person defending him had his back towards him, towards him. Like he wasn't even there. Like that's the type of disrespect that's being shown to him now, because it's just pissing me off. Ben Simmons pisses me off. Like just the fact that he won't shoot the ball ever. It's crazy to me. It's like actually ridiculous.
I was talking, I'm sorry to cut you off. I was talking to another Philly friend of mine who's like a Philadelphia 76ers fan. I kid you not. He said, I hate the Nets. Ben is a bum and they lost. Like that's an actual quote, what he said. Because that's just how much the Sixers fans hate Ben Simmons, man. I caught a little bit of that game.
The only reason I'm bringing this up is because I can't tell if I'm an idiot for not knowing who this is, but he says, why do you think Jock isn't getting...
Dude,
Jock?
Dude, I need to make a Jock Landale drop. That's a tongue twister. Jock Landale drop. Dude, Jock Landale played for the Spurs last year. Hey, I even tweeted about this too, man. Yeah, look him up, man. He played for the Spurs last year. He's Australian.
Jock Landale.
Let me just sum it up this way. And this is exactly what I tweeted out earlier. He played really well in the preseason, like really well. Played pretty well in his first like 5-6 games. And then unfortunately fell off. And I actually didn't know this, but he's shooting a really low percentage from three because he's a pick and pop kind of center, rolls to the basket, can play somewhat a little bit pretty good defense. But he has been struggling, and Monty Williams has not played him.
He's been pretty efficient on a numbers standpoint.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like he puts up the numbers. He's aggressive out there. Sometimes Deandre Ayton, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, could take notes from him. And I swear to God, I even tweeted about this earlier. I was like, he hasn't had that same impact that he did in the first, preseason and the first few games. But I wish Jock Landale was playing a little bit more. But Monty Williams is weird. And you know this a little bit. Like he plays players off certain matchups. And maybe he was intimidated by Anthony Davis and Thomas Bryant tonight. I don't know.
I think just in general in the NBA, rotations are, fluent. They're not linear. They're not robotic. Like they change always. Like you have players like for us, Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan was getting 25 minutes a night for like a week span. Now he's out the rotation. I mean, things change in terms of rotations, and especially towards that end of the bench, it's always fluctuating. So like, I don't know about this guy specifically, but that's just like a true fact throughout the entire NBA,
Well, take my word for it, man. For a good stretch, he was playing great basketball, man. Like I gotta tell you,
the numbers say it.
The numbers say it. And again, it's nothing too flashy. I mean, he looks like a 2K my career created player, but he's a good player, man. He's such a chill dude too. Like if you listen to him in interviews, he's hilarious. And he even made a joke. I'll have to show you the video another time, but they asked the Phoenix Suns to describe their game in one word, and he jokingly said terrible. Like that's how like self-aware he is. And I love Jock Landale, man. He's a fan favorite here. But and you know what? Speaking of fan favorites, Dario Sarge, is a fan favorite. He hasn't played much either. So it's like Monty Williams.
He was still injured. Is he not still injured?
No, he's been somewhat healthy, and
he's been out the rotation. Damn.
Yeah, he's been in and out of the rotation. Although he did play Eurobasket.
If you got Dwayne Washington coming in here and lighting us up, then that's Ish Wainwright, the tight end.
Let's go back to the stats real quick. I got to get more guests on the show, man. It's much more fun with guests on here besides me just ranting the whole time. You know what? Before we talk about the tight end and everything, I got to play this drop. And we got to talk about Deandre Ayton just real quick. But let's talk about Deandre Ayton. Let's play this drop first.
The Phoenix Suns select Deandre Ayton.
Where do I begin with Deandre Ayton, man? Look, he's had 4 or 5 double-doubles in his last few games. He did step it up late in the fourth quarter.
Not really, honestly.
See, that's the thing, man.
This is what happened. He made a couple of shots and made like 2 defensive plays. Like that's not stepping it up. That's what you should expect from him on a night-to-day basis.
That's the thing, man. I swear to God, I have said this like a million times, and I sound like I don't even know how to say it. Like I'm super repetitive when it comes to this. I'm his biggest fan, but I'm also his biggest critic. And look, I don't really care what Charles Barkley and Shaq say at halftime or
I did agree with them though, honestly.
Did you see that clip? Like I posted
Shaq said
that
something about how like if Ayton's not playing well, the Suns like Ayton's like the motor pretty much, and I kind of agree with that, honestly. Dude, Ayton could be Ayton is the X factor, honestly.
But dude, like, and I hate to sound like the body language police here, but like. It's the little things, man. It's like the body language, the things that Anthony Davis was doing tonight, like physically and everything. I'm like, if Deandre Ayton did that, he'd be a top 5 center. And you could argue that he already is a top 5 center. But like, and I even got in an argument with somebody over Twitter, which now I understand, by the way, why you're not on Twitter, about his rebounding. I'm like, dude, he's got to be able to rebound with the best bigs in the game. And sure, he did have 15 rebounds tonight. But at one point, Patrick Beverly had more rebounds than he did.
How many did AD have?
Like 30 million, 20 something. Like it was ridiculous. And look, I understand, he's a human being. You're going to struggle game from game. But when you're playing the best centers and the best bigs in the league, you have to show up. I always say this, 9 out of 10 games. You can take a night off. Show up 9 out of every 10 games, man. And I'm not saying he was garbage tonight. The numbers won't tell you that. But like, and again, the past few games, numbers wise, he's been fine. But it's just the little things, man. It's the way he starts the games. It's his engagement. I don't know if it's a mental thing like with Ben Simmons. I don't know.
I think we've always, I mean, again, I haven't seen much of him this year, but I've always loved Deandre Ayton, but I think the one constant thing with him is we've always just seen a lack of aggression and maybe confidence and mental assertiveness. I think with Ayton, he's not as aggressive as he should be, and every time he is aggressive, good things happen. Facts. I mean, am I right? Am I wrong about that?
Nope, you're 100% right.
Especially in the playoffs, I think it was last year or 2 years ago. Like I remember Ayton hit like in one game. Like I just remember this. Like they started going to him. He started hitting his little fadeaway from like the free throw line shot, and that like you got a motor through him, and then he got kick opportunities to book. Less pressures on book. He opens things up for the entire team when he's aggressive, because he's really efficient when he's aggressive. But he's just, I don't know what it is. Why it could be the game plan, but when Dane gets the ball, he's just not aggressive. He doesn't look to score. And I haven't seen, again, I'm going to keep saying this. I haven't watched many Suns games this year, but that's just what I've seen through Ayton for his entire year. And now he's averaging 3 less points, a couple of less rebounds this year. It's just not very inspiring from Ayton. Not something that I'd want to see if I was a fan of his or the Suns, because we know he has the talent, and I know you know he has the talent.
And that's the thing. Look, and I'm really both sides of the coin on this, if you will, like both sides of the street and everything. Like, I understand he can't be Wilt Chamberlain. You know, he can't put up Anthony Davis numbers tonight, 30 something and 20. I get it. That's not going to happen every night. He's not Nikola Jokic. He's not Joel Embiid. But again, it's just the little things, man. You know, he could be so much more. Go back and look at the highlights of the entire Suns, pretty much finals run, especially during the playoffs and the Western Conference Finals, if I remember correctly. He was absolutely dominant. And most nights we weren't complaining about Deandre Ayton. We were praising him. But it's literally like a war between Suns fans. Like, you're either pro Ayton or you're pro anti Ayton and everything. It is. And I feel like every time I go live, or even if I just make a video, I'm like, Deandre Ayton really struggled, or Deandre Ayton was really good tonight. Here's why. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be like that.
All Suns fans, no matter like what side of the spectrum you're on, like all you guys are rooting for him to do well.
Like, we all believe in him.
Exactly. You all believe in him because he's shown it. He's shown that he can make your team so much better. And he just can't. He hasn't shown in his entire career that he can do that consistently.
Especially this season. Now, I'm not saying he's been trash all season, because the little Twitter trolls and social media trolls will be at it, but like, he has had good games. There's some games where he's really stepped up and helped us win games, and one problem is that sometimes he doesn't show up until the fourth quarter. I'm really talking about Damian Lee here, because for some reason Damian Lee seems to play really well in the fourth quarter, but sometimes that's a big problem too. Like, you got to come out of the gates jumping. You got to come out on fire, and he just has not done that this season. And again, statistically, I think he's been fine, although, let's be real. This is a game of numbers. You kind of want the numbers to be a little bit higher. I swear to God, man, you and I could literally spend an hour or more talking just about Deandre Ayton alone. I hope I'm not missing any good comments, by the way. Let me know if I am. I'll try to get to as many as I possibly can. That's my rant on Deandre Ayton. I feel like I have the same conversation every time I go
I've
live.
had this exact conversation with you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, has he improved defensively at all this year?
See, you said a key word there. Improved. I feel like the defense I'm not too concerned about. I'm really not. Although, again, rebounding is sometimes an issue. Blocking shots is sometimes an issue. Contesting shots is sometimes an issue with him. But somehow defensively, he is one of our best players. It makes no sense to me. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I thought we were going to read the comment.
No, well, yeah. I mean, we can't.
That's why I was like silent.
I'm so frustrated. I'm just like reacting.
He's about to read it.
So yeah, Mark Cooper. That's my guy right there. Mark Cooper says Ayton just isn't an impact center who can play against the best consistently. Something that I mentioned earlier. Sometimes I think he is really a power forward who isn't a dominant center.
I mean, I understand that fully, but like everything Ayton does is. He has the build of a center. Like, there's some 7'1" people who, like, say Giannis or KD, who have play styles and builds that, can be categorized as a forward, or like, look at Victor Wembanyama. Like, it's people like that. But then there's people like Ayton who, it's just, he's a center, like, he's a center and he's not aggressive and confident.
Excuse me, reliable. Victor Wembanyama is not even in the NBA yet. So we're not supposed to be talking about him, because apparently the NBA is not supposed to be taking
shooting guard.
I legit was going to ask you a spontaneous question later, what you thought about him, because damn, man, he's
shooting guard.
He's pretty damn amazing. I'm not going to lie. And you know what? Even though it's kind of hypocritical of the NBA to say don't tank, although they're like showing.
I do have some strong opinions about him though, which I can save for later.
Yeah, save for later. We're gonna talk some NBA and Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson, and there's like a twin of brothers or something that's pretty good too in that draft. I don't know. You're the draft guy, not me. Remember when we drafted Jalen Smith?
Oh, that was one of the most legendary moments on this channel.
I gotta clip that and like upload it, man.
I remember we were on the same live stream and I saw on my phone, it was like Suns drafting Jalen Smith. Oh no, you said it. You read it and I was like, is this real?
I thought imagine
if you guys had Tyrese. Oh my god.
Dude, bro. Did you know that the Pacers are 10-6?
Did you know that I woke up every day before the draft thinking about Tyrese Halliburton, and you guys had the opportunity to draft him, and you drafted Jalen Smith because James Jones likes to like go to the end of the board every single time.
This is why I love basketball, man, because of the exact conversation we just had right there, man. That's so freaking good, man. All right, real quick, is there anybody else Phoenix Suns wise you want to talk about? Just real quick, if I can, before I get your opinion. Didn't have the best game tonight. Cameron Payne, 11-7, but recently though has been balling 20-something points
really
a game.
Good at like coming off screens. He's really good at creating space off screens. It's just that floater, at least tonight, was pretty inefficient, but it's there every time.
Yep. Again, didn't have the best game, but his past 6-7 games, he's been incredible, especially filling in for Chris Paul. I just had to give him his flowers real quick. Again, not the greatest game, but he played all right. Shout out to my guy, Ish Wainwright.
Turnovers?
Yeah. We don't talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up, actually, because Cam Payne mentioned something about that, and I said it in my recent video.
How do you have a plus 12?
Oh, I hate the plus minus. I hate it so much. It makes no sense because you can have a terrible game and be in the plus minus. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But real quick, just on camera. Speaking of Cameron Payne, I'm all over the place. I made a drop for Cameron Payne. Let's watch it. Wasn't that the best intro or drop ever?
Everything Cam Payne does is just funny.
Can we just watch that one more time because it's that beautiful?
It's like a garage band beat that I'd make when I'm 9 years old.
By the way, I still have some of those beats that you made like a long time ago.
Yeah, they're probably bad now. That if I listen to them now, I'd probably be like, "What is this?"
Can I use them on my videos? I'm dying, man. Anyways, so what I was trying to say about Cameron Payne, because I am glad that you brought up the turnovers. Cam Payne said, and I quote, "I'm trying to keep it at 0, just like Chris Paul would do." He pretty much said that. That's kind of Cam Payne's biggest flaw as of late, because statistically, he's bringing it every night, and he really has been solid his past 6-7 games. Tonight, again, statistically, 11-7. It's fine. 5 turnovers, 5 fouls. 5 for 15 shooting, not great, but I can forgive him for one night. He just needs to be consistent. And Monty Williams said that when Chris Paul does come back, he needs to keep playing like this, because we talk about how we need Ayton. We need Western Conference Finals, playoff Ayton. We're going to need like Cam Payne to be solid if we want to make a deep run into the playoffs. So I just had to rant about Cam Payne real quick. So any thoughts on it?
Bit, but it's interesting to think that like you guys really you guys saved Cam Payne's career. I don't know what it is. Like, he was out the league a little bit. He came to you guys, and he had that one season, I think, 2019 was like that season he averaged like 15 or something something like that. I just remember he was a baller, and he stayed pretty consistent ever since. So it's like, he'll do his thing. He'll have his turnovers, but I mean, he had the ball, and like he's really good coming off screens, at least tonight. Like, you don't understand the plus minus system, so it makes no sense.
You know what? I don't even understand basketball. So, like, what am I doing here?
No, but yeah, I mean, he just makes some ill-advised decisions, but he's really talented coming off screens. His 3, how has he been from 3? Like,
I'm glad you brought that up. He's been more patient with his 3 and a little more consistent. The numbers may not show that, But I remember, especially last year when he pretty much got benched during the playoffs, he was so aggressive. Like he was playing too fast. He's really slowed down a little bit, been a little bit more consistent from three. And then Ben Johnson says Payne has that energy. You know, when he goes left high off the glass, he's a force. Love it when he shoots threes lately. I feel like it's going in. I agree. And he's been taking those wide open threes and just throwing them up, and they've been going in, man. So he's been playing pretty well.
Westbrook babied him, and then next play, Cam blocked him. So that was fun to see. He
did have, I want to say, 2 blocks versus the Knicks. And how many did he have tonight? Just one? Was it against Westbrook? I don't know. But
I don't know.
I don't know. He's been playing great, though. That's why he got his own drop. Let's see, just real quick. The Westbrook and campaign back and forth at the start of the game was fun to watch. Those two were pregame dance partners.
I thought about that right when I saw them going at it.
That's my guy, Logan, with the great comment, man. He's always in here leaving great comments. So shout out to him. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I'm sorry I haven't really acknowledged the chat much in here. It's been a fun show. We've already been live for over 40 minutes. We're having a blast here, and we still got a lot more to talk about. So Reliable, I hope you don't have anywhere to be because we still got a little bit more of the show to go. It's been a fun show,
good.
Man.
I'm here.
Real quick, let's see. Is there anything else or anybody else you want to talk about in terms of this game? Because then we can kind of continue on because there are some other things I do want to discuss about the Lakers, Suns, NBA, and everything. So anything else?
Well, as someone who hasn't watched much of the Suns, Dwayne Washington stood out to me tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how consistent he's been, but like he kind of reminded me of like a Trey Murphy type player, just someone who like came off the bench and just smacked the fucking threes in your mouth. Sorry, I didn't mean to, but that's just what happened. Like, I mean, it was annoying as a Laker fan. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, who is this guy and why is he scorching us right now? It was pretty annoying, and like AD wasn't stepping up and help defense. I mean, he was tired, but like, yeah, Washington would come off a screen and just hit a shot, midi or three, because there's no help, which is something just classic Lakers. But like, yeah, he stood out to me. That's if there was one other player I'd want to talk about, it'd probably be him.
Thank you for bringing him up, by the way. He's on a 2-way contract, but I feel like he fits our Phoenix Suns culture very well. He's obviously very happy to be here. He just had a newborn son, so congratulations to him, by the way. Really good dude.
You know you're a real Suns fan if you know that fact.
Exactly. But now you said a key word earlier. You said consistent. Mixed reviews on the consistency, but somebody kind of put this out earlier, and I really like it. It was, if I'm saying this name right, Zach Marcin, NBA, said, Dwayne Washington has been struggling, but I just never feel worried about him. Like, I agree with that because there are games where he is inconsistent.
The other night.
Exactly. There are games where he's inconsistent, but he still gets the minutes. He has really good chemistry with Dario Saric, of all players, by the way.
Yeah,
but he can give you a bucket, and Monty Williams seems to love him. I mean, 15 points in 18 minutes.
He's so weird. How is he putting up? He's going 8 for 14. The next night he's going like 2 for 6, 2 for 10.
See, it's the consistency.
I think it's like, honestly, I think he just needs to play more. I think he needs more minutes, honestly, because when he plays over 18 minutes, he's efficient and he's putting up 15, 21 points a game. I just don't think maybe you're not giving him enough time to get into rhythm. Maybe. I don't know. I think it would be beneficial
Deandre
to have like an experiment of giving him like 28 minutes. And just seeing what happens. Because, I mean, from what I saw tonight, like, he looks like he could give any team buckets.
Speaking of experiments, that is, for better or worse, that is one thing that Monty Williams does do. And I feel like a lot of coaches, should try to do for the most part, depending on your team and your roster. That is one thing Monty Williams does. And, I mean, again, I'll just say, 15 points in 18 minutes. I mean, not very efficient from 3, but, still could light it up. So I'm glad that you brought up Dwayne Washington Jr. We'll just have to see, man. He's on a 2-way deal. He really does love playing for this team, and I hope that he can stay with us for the remainder of the season. So I feel like in terms of, at least the numbers and the box score, just actually real quick, let me make sure I'm not missing anything in terms of I mean, we kind of talked about the three. I didn't really talk about the Suns 3-point shooting tonight. I did tweet it out earlier that, especially like at halftime and really to end the game, they were shooting a great percentage from three. Because I know your Lakers are struggling from three, but like the Suns, a little inconsistent. But tonight, 16 for 34, 47% from three. I had to bring that up because that is absolutely huge.
Every time we play you guys, you torch us from three.
Yep. And that's the reason I wanted to bring it up, man. Like, we needed a 3-point shooting night like tonight. But, man.
15 to 16 from the free throw line is ridiculously hard.
That's what I was going to say, man. Look at those free throw differences, man. Like, 29 for 35. The Suns went to the free throw line they made three free throws tonight. I understand
5 free throw attempts the whole game? No way.
That's why I'm bringing it up, man.
That has to be a season low for any team in the league. That's ridiculous. I've shot in my last game. I shot like 8 free throws that I played for my high school game. 8 free throws. I shot more than the whole Suns team in longer. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. I've never seen anything like that. 5 free throws in a whole game? No way. That's crazy.
I'm trying to find the tweet, but somebody said something like Anthony Davis has gone to the free throw line like more than the whole Suns team or something.
He was getting fouled every time he went to he earned every one of his free throw attempts. Like, we can't argue that, right? I mean,
and you know what? In all fairness, there were a few times where like Payne would like elbow somebody and but I get that. But I mean, come on, 3 for 5? Come on, refs. Like,
all your fans are saying that's like a commonplace.
It is. And I did want to bring that up, man. Like, but
yeah, 5 free throws in a game, it sounds crazy to me. I don't know, like, if that just sounds, that's less than that. Yeah, that number doesn't really
base god flashy. Unfortunately, it's not a season low. That's hilarious.
Like, damn.
Season digit free throws for the Suns in a single game is commonplace. I love it, man. It's so good. I do want to just real quick before we move on to see if what Monty Williams said, like, I'm looking to see what the media said, if Monty Williams made any comments about that. Let me see. Nope, they're just talking about the Pat Beverly stuff. So real quick, spontaneous
we haven't even
here.
talked about that.
Yeah, like what did you see from that Pat Beverly cheap shot? And you can be honest, like, be real. Like, if you tell me how you feel, man.
Everybody can see both sides, right?
Yeah.
You could see that if you put yourself in Pat Beverly's shoes, you wouldn't be happy with Ayton mean mugging your teammate after he did nothing. Also, him and Ayton were having like back and forth the whole game, so it's like it's Patrick Beverly, like Patrick Beverly's gonna do shit like that. But no, like, I get it. Like, I don't respect, like, I don't like promote it or think it's like, I'm not justifying it, but like, you see an opponent mean mugging your teammate who you've already had some bad blood with for the game, like, this could happen. So it's nothing different than what we've seen from Pat Bev. It wasn't like he was starting something. Like, he saw something he didn't like, so he took action. That's what Pat Bev does. So it's like, he'll probably get a 1-2 game suspension, but I don't know. I don't think it's anything to really think too hard about.
So you guys are seeing it on the screen right now. The only thing I'll say, and I guess it just depends on how you look at it. Like, you know me, I'm a fan of NBA history.
He could have really injured Austin Reeves there, though. He like pushed him over him. Like, that could have been like bad. Yeah.
All I'm going to say is this. Everyone has their own definition of taunting. I didn't think that was taunting, just saying. I mean, I know he stood over him, all that. It looked like Anthony Davis kind of went over and chirped at Ayton. But Devin Booker, literally right after the game, was talking to Chris Haynes, made a good point, and said Pat Bev's got to stop shoving people in the back, or he said something like, push him in the chest, not in the back, because that's what he did to Chris Paul. So
yeah,
I'm just saying, I agree with Devin Booker there. But yeah, Pat
Bev,
I mean,
it's dangerous, obviously, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever been pushed in the back, like, your neck
pissed me off because it's like he didn't do anything on that play, and he's like mugging Austin Reeves. Like, why do you get to do that? You didn't do anything on that play.
Oh God, we got the bots in here. I gotta get
Also,
rid of the bots.
that flagrant foul was kind of BS. I don't think it should have been a flagrant foul. I mean, it was just an inadvertent slap in the face, in my opinion.
I appreciate your honesty. I mean, everyone's gonna have their own opinion. If I can also nitpick and rant, look, I loved Reggie Miller as a player. I really did. And sometimes he has good points in the broadcast, but damn it, he got me furious when this happened because he was like, Deandre Ayton was taunting and blah, blah, blah. That's why Pat Bev did that. I was like, yeah,
I mean,
okay,
he's not
Reggie
wrong. How is he wrong?
I don't know. It was the way he said it. It really.
I don't know. I didn't disagree with it. I thought he just said it straight. Like, Aiden was taunting. That's the reason Bev did it. I mean, like, I kind of agree with that.
And you know what? That's why you're on the show, man, to disagree with me and call me out, especially on the plus minus.
Again, I'm not justifying it. I think that's a dangerous play, especially because he pushed him over his teammate, which could have been dangerous. Yeah. But, like, you know, that's what it's Bev. You know,
we all know that Pat Bev hates the Suns. We all know that. I don't know, Suns fans. You tell us in the comments.
Yeah, honestly, Reggie Miller overall, though, is just not a good announcer. Yeah. I agree with
dude. I have a vlog on this channel somewhere where, like, I was like venting about Reggie Miller and his broadcasting because I just couldn't. I was just so furious last year during the playoffs, man. Shot Chucker says Reggie Miller is a Lakers fan, man. He's awful. I don't care what anyone else
He's
says.
Just not like you can like someone like when it comes to announcing, in my opinion, like color commentating, like there's just really good ones and really bad ones. Like I just don't think Miller is just like a natural. Like you see like Tony Romo in the NFL. Like there's guys who could just do it. You know, I don't think Miller's good. I don't think he's entertaining.
Just real quick, what do you think of Candace Parker? Because I'm not going to lie to you, I love Candace Parker, man.
Yeah, she's actually is awesome. On the Lakers channel, Spectrum Sportsnet. She comes on a lot. I think she's really
dude. I just feel like she knows her shit, man, and she'll tell it how it is, whether I agree with it or not. But she's awesome, man. No, real talk. I appreciate you sharing your feedback about that. Obviously, I'm surprised we went that long without talking about it. This show's all over the place. You guys know how these Suns Geek post game live shows work. All right, real quick, let me just see. Okay, we've obviously gone a little bit longer than I thought we were going to go. If you want to keep going, because I actually do want to pick your brain about more stuff. I hope I'm not keeping you too long.
No, I'm good. Let's keep going.
Let's move on to. I thought I had something for it, but I don't. Let's move on to just the Lakers real quick, and this is kind of where you can take the spotlight. I guess my question is, can the Los Angeles Lakers turn it around? They're what, 5-11? 5-11. Yeah. Do you think the Lakers can turn it around? Are you concerned? Like, just let me know your thoughts on the Lakers in general, and be legit, man. Like, just tell me how it is.
I think I'll have two contrasting ideas that I've just been thinking. I think in no stretch of the imagination is this team a championship team at its peak. But I have been happy and surprised with the progress the unit has made in the past couple weeks. I think Darvin Ham has done a good job adjusting. I think his rotations have been good. And I was kind of trying to point fingers when we were at like 0-6 before we got that first win. But the adjustments, we were on a 3-game winning streak. And I don't care if it's against the Pistons or the Spurs, like we looked good, we looked better, and that's Westbrook always encouraging because throughout a long period of last season, it was just constant, just sloppiness, not adjustments with Frank Vogel. So I've been happy with Darvin Ham. I've been happy what the unit has done, and I've been happy about the improvements that a lot of the role players have made, especially like you don't realize. Anthony Davis was very mid the first couple weeks of the season. He was averaging 20 and 10, normal all-star numbers, but he turned it up. Like maybe it's because LeBron's out, but overall the team has gotten better, and I'm happy about that. And we almost beat you guys, who are one of the best teams in the league. We put up a really good fight, and I think we could, with this current unit, I think we could turn into a playoff team just based off of how we've been playing. So if we keep improving at this rate, like I'm excited for what's to come, and I've been happy. But overall, like this unit can't win a championship. I've been disappointed with Rob Pelinka about the unit he put together. And just even the Westbrook thing, like that's a beautiful situation, right? Yeah. Like Darvin Ham making that adjustment, having the balls to make that adjustment, and it's turned out great for us, So like I've been happy with adjustments and improvements, but yeah, the peak is not a championship, and There's too much talent in this league for that unit to be a championship team. That's all I'll say.
That's why I wanted to bring this up, man, because look, we're not even in December yet. Obviously, you guys could turn it around in theory. And
yeah, I mean, we started it. We went on a 3-game win streak. You know?
And look, with all due respect to these players, and even though you said Troy Brown was playing good, and you haven't seen much out of Dennis Schroeder earlier, and Kendrick Nunn's been struggling, all that stuff, yada yada yada.
So bad.
I know.
I don't know why he's in the game ever.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like the names I mentioned, plus like Wayne Gabriel Jr. and former Phoenix Sun Damian Jones and everybody. Like
he hasn't really been in rotation.
It's just not a championship roster. And look, the Westbrook haters are gonna hate, the LeBron haters, etc. Even though LeBron is the GM, he's not the GM. Like it's Rob Pelinka's team, and that's not a championship roster, dude. Like
I've been preaching this for so long that super teams that are constructed through free agency don't work anymore. They don't. They simply don't. Like the Nets, you try to get the 3 stars and put people around them. It's not going to work. The Lakers, you try to get stars and put people around them. It's not going to work. The Warriors are different because they were constructed through the draft. They were constructed naturally. They're a unit. They've been a unit for many years. You try to get stars and put them together and not put role players around them. That's just a setup for failure. When it comes to the Suns or, the Grizzlies, they have depth for days, and they have many people who can get themselves a bucket. So teams like the Lakers, who have 3 or 4 people who could kind of get a bucket, and then people on the outside who kind of can't or just don't mesh or just outside role players. Like, I don't know. Like teams like the Suns have role players who can be way more than role players. And that sets you up for a success. It's not super teams suck. Super teams fail. And I stand by that.
And look, man, and again, with all due respect, because I know you're a huge Lakers fan, I've seen some of the quote experts and professionals talk about this. It's also the Lakers' future. Like, obviously, the whole draft picks things is very important. Yeah. And sure, LA is a huge market, and maybe eventually they'll have cap room. Although I think their salary cap is extremely high right now.
Yeah,
I don't see a future. I really don't see a bright future right now with this Lakers team. Remember when all those Anthony Davis trade rumors were happening and Westbrook? It's like, even if you did trade those guys, like I don't see it, man. Like I would not want to be Rob Pelinka right now and whoever is running the team. And that's why I wanted to ask if the Lakers can turn it around. Like, sure, even if they were a play-in team, I don't see it with this
our
Lakers
future
team,
is
man.
Objectively terrible.
Yeah.
We traded all of our picks. Our next pick is in 2027.
Oh my, dude, that is so long from now.
Our next first round pick, yeah. And our team is one of the oldest in the league, and we don't really have any young pieces. Like objectively, there's no way around that our future is terrible. We put obviously everything in. And the annoying part, I don't want to go off too hard on this.
No,
but the annoying part as a Laker fan is like people try to take away, like we won a championship, right? But like I hate how people try to take away from it. Like it just pisses me off, because of the bubble. But it's like
asterisk championship.
Part of it doesn't feel like enough to Laker fans, which is really unfortunate.
And NBA fans in general.
Yeah, it's like we won the championship. We put the team together. We won the championship. But just part of it doesn't feel enough because of like the discreditness. And I don't know if that's just me, but like, I don't know. I just think that it's been kind of annoying me.
I mean, if you talk to NBA, like former players, coaches, current players, they will tell you, and broadcasters and everything, it is hard to win a championship in any year. And as an NBA historian like myself, I do agree with that. Like you win a championship, you win a championship. And you know what? They still got Anthony Davis and LeBron James, at least for right now they do. So, and they got my boy Russell Westbrook. So I had to get your opinion on that. Appreciate your thoughts. Let's just move on real quick. And I guess we kind of already sort of discussed this, but I can kind of give my thoughts in terms of the Suns being Thanksgiving week and all. Thanksgiving's in a couple of days. What should the Suns and Lakers be thankful for? Let me just start real quick, just off the top of my head. You know what, man? Despite a very controversial, crazy, drama-filled offseason, with the Kevin Durant stuff, the Robert Sarver stuff, the disaster of the Mavericks series that was, you know what? We're still a contender. We still have Chris Paul. We still have Devin Booker, who is thriving right now. We still have Mikal Bridges. And you know what? Even though he's the most controversial player ever in Suns history, we still got Deandre Ayton. And we got, Cam Payne. I could go on and on. We got my boy Jock Landale.
Yeah,
we're still a contender, man.
When in doubt, you have to think you have the same roster that you made the finals with. So it's like,
yep.
I feel like that's what you got to think when in doubt.
And you know what? Because we kind of talked about this with your Lakers earlier. Believe it or not, we actually have our draft picks for whatever, gold that is worth to some teams, because draft picks are worth gold. You know what I mean? For the most part, we have all of our draft picks to my knowledge. And we have some tradable contracts. Jae Crowder, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. Dario Saric could be traded. Landry Shamet could be traded. Even though I don't agree with everything James Jones does, I mean, dude, the guy brought us not only brought us to the finals, but he got us a Hall of Fame point guard in Chris Paul, and we're contender. We couldn't say that 3 or 4 years ago. You know what I mean? So that's what the Suns should be thankful for. And is it great to be a Suns fan, man? So even though we kind of talked about it, is there anything positive like the Lakers should be thankful for? Like besides the fact you have LeBron and AD, like what should the Lakers?
First of all, I want to point out that I was a notorious Chris Paul trade hater. I was like, oh, giving up Kelly Oubre for an old point guard. I remember that clearly. I was like upset for you. I was like, you guys gave it way too much, but I was wrong. Anyway. No, like you kind of said it. Like one thing, even if Lakers aren't winning, you have to be thankful for LeBron James, and just because being able to like see him play on every night is like a blessing for Lakers fans, especially for me. Like I'm grateful that I'm at the age where I'm able to see LeBron doing historic things every single night. Every time he goes out there on the court is historic. Just due to the fact of his age and his caliber and what he's being able to do. It's just historic, and I'm grateful that I get to see him every single night. I'll get that out of the way. In terms of role players, like the only 2 role players I really like care about or like want to keep on the team are Austin Reeves and Lonnie Walker. Everybody else I'm up in the air about. So I'm very grateful for those 2 guys. I think they've been 2 positives and 2 people that we need around LeBron to strive. 2 people that can shoot the lights out of the ball, play defense, and get a bucket when they need it. That's exactly what we need. And those 2 have been positive, amazing, improved. I mean, I'm grateful for adjustments. Not really a thing we've seen in the Lakers franchise the past couple of years, and we've already made some, which is encouraging. But yeah, overall, like just a blessing to be able to watch basketball and stuff. So even if it's not going our way, like just being able to see LeBron and, basketball being played is just fun.
Just real quick, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. I do think Darvin Ham is a good coach. I don't know.
I don't know yet, honestly. I don't know.
Exactly. Like, I don't know if
I'm just happy
if this is the right situation for him. And also, I don't know if, we don't know. It's too early. But from what I've seen certain interviews with him. I feel like he does know what he's talking about, but like execution, you know what I mean?
I mean, he's a coach. He probably should know a little bit.
Unless he's like studying lines and just pretending to be a good coach. But I don't know, man. I just had to get that off my chest real quick. What did Logan say that was so good? Let's see here. Be patient, and those picks go for another all-star when CP3 retires. CP3 trade was never meant to make us this good. Just get Book to the playoffs. Our timeline was always around Book, Bridges, and Ayton. That's fair. And I didn't even be thankful. I didn't even mention Cam Johnson, who I absolutely love, and I hope he comes back from that injury soon. But yeah, that's Logan spitting facts, man. I don't know. I had to get your thoughts on what the Lakers and the Suns should be thankful for.
It's kind of interesting to think about, because like there was D-Book. D-Book never requested a trade, but there was like, I remember James Jones was like, at least I remember hearing this, like James Jones was adamant about, putting Booker in a good situation. So in a way you could look at it as like an impulse move to get Chris Paul. Like, hey, we need this guy to get help. We just need, I don't even think he was thinking about championship aspirations when he made that move, but look what it brought you,
Well, and again, man, I've said this like 10 times. We could spend like a whole hour on this. The experts in the media were creating these Devin Booker trade scenarios, whether some of it was true or not, because, you know, people know people, they have sources, which we'll talk about the Jae Crowder stuff in a little bit, but there was a lot of that going around. But Devin Booker never once said, I want out of Phoenix.
Yeah.
Trade me, James Jones, get me out of here. He never once said that.
I definitely remember the rumors. I will say that.
Yeah.
Definitely remember the rumors. And
dude, I made like 100 videos about the rumors. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But that's my point. Devin Booker, Phoenix Suns for life, man. And I don't know if I still have it on here. I thought I had a picture of like a tweet where Devin Booker said, like, I love Phoenix. I have it somewhere, but I don't know. So before we end the show, I do want to talk about one more thing, because this did come out today, and I don't know how much you've been following this. And honestly, I'm tired of it. I've made videos about it. I've talked about it consistently in live streams. Another Jae Crowder rumor popped up. This comes from Kevin O'Connor from the not the Athletic, from the Ringer, somebody who I actually do like. Now, I'm a terrible reader, and I have been doing a little bit of drinking tonight, but I'll do my best. We're not going to read this whole thing. So pretty much, he said that on his latest episode of The Mismatch. He reported that the Hawks, Bogdan Bogdanovic, I hope I said that right, is another trade target for the Suns. Now, we've kind of heard this before a little bit. He said that he checks a lot of boxes as a shooter, ball handler, rock solid defender, yada, 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 but he's been injured this season. It is important to remember that the Suns could potentially package Crowder, Landry Shamet, Dario Saric, and Torrey Craig, who I feel like we didn't talk enough about Torrey Craig earlier, by the way, plus draft picks as sweeteners. He's just kind of throwing this out there. And then he also says there is no reason to rush, though Crowder is long gone. The Suns should wait to see. That was a piece that he wrote in like a big article earlier today. It wasn't all about the Suns. There was other stuff in there. So that was what came out today. And Reliable, let me tell you, dude, I swear to God, there was like a 36 to maybe 48 hour period where there was like 5 different Jae Crowder trade rumors. I made a skit kind of making fun of those rumors. I'm not saying that they weren't true. I was just poking fun at all the rumors, because it was like Jae Crowder rumor here and this rumor and this source is telling me this. I was so sick of it. I don't believe anything anymore. Do you have any thoughts on the Jae Crowder situation? Do you have any thoughts on this report? I'm so over
very
it.
Interesting situation, because one, let me get this straight. He's been a healthy scratch the whole year.
Yeah,
that's
and
weird.
They mutually agreed to part ways. He didn't show up to training camp. Didn't show up to media day. He was done.
I think it's like Jae Crowder is a type of player that is needed on a lot of teams, and I feel like a 3 and energy. I don't want to say D, because I mean he's not like the best defender. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Energy
3 and energy player, veteran, is a perfect player for contending teams, and I would expect there to be an interest. But in terms of Jae Crowder, someone who's older and has been getting less consistent over the years, I get why the trade value is diminished. But that type of player, Jae Crowder, the type of player, I would assume would have a lot of trade value. So it's like when a key player like Jae Crowder is sitting out, obviously rumors are just going to keep coming and keep coming. And usually rumors mean nothing until the trade actually happens, because it'll honestly probably be like a nobody G League player and a 2nd round pick at the end of the day. Like that. I mean, what else are you going to get, really? Like, right? Like that's pretty much that's inevitably what the trade's going to be. It's going to be for a contract filler and a 2nd round pick. That's what it's going to be.
See, that's what's so, I don't know what the word is. Complicated. Yeah. Infuriating, maddening, whatever word you want to use.
Contract. I forgot how much.
10.4 million.
That might be what it is. It's hard.
10.2 million, and it's expiring, by the way.
I think you should pair it with like Saric to get their big contract player, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of those contracts out there that teams want to get rid of. So it's like I would see that as a possibility, maybe. But
like when you were talking about your thoughts on it, I was kind of remembering some of my past live shows and videos that I've done. I'm like, I really wonder if his value is dropping.
Absolutely.
Somebody asked me in my comments, and I don't remember if I responded to them or not. They said, how come like James Jones is like, or like, I don't know if it, I'm trying to remember what the question was, but it was something along the lines of like, why are the Suns allowing this? Like, why is Crowder sitting out and why hasn't he been traded by now? I'm just like, I don't remember a scenario.
Well, wasn't it a Monty decision? I don't think it was it a Jake decision or was
It
it a
might have
Monty
been like a team decision or a
I mean,
mutual.
usually when they say mutual, it's bullshit, right?
Right.
Like, and someone in the comments said his attitude doesn't fit the culture. Was that a problem? Was that a known problem?
Maybe now it does. Because, dude, I said this. I was like, if you were really for this team and you wanted to win a championship, you would be here, man. Like, that's my whole thing.
If locker room presence is a problem, that is his trade value. You know, that's a huge hit on his trade value if it comes out that he's a bad attitude guy, bad locker room guy, you know.
And look, I made a video about this too. I don't know if you care much about Chris Haynes, you know, the Yahoo Sports, TNT, whatever he does, reporter. He said he apparently spoke to Jae Crowder, and apparently Jae Crowder said the business of basketball has took its course. So, like, did he want a contract extension? I'm like, dude, this whole situation is just a disaster, and it makes the Suns look bad. It makes him look bad. It makes his trade value look bad. And that's why I'm like, dude, I'm just so sick of it. I'm not going to spend, I mean, I could, but like, I'm not going to like make a video every single time there's a Jae Crowder rumor, because we've been having like 50 different conversations. Although this one kind of intrigued me a little bit. By the way, the Suns owned the draft rights to Bogdan Bogdanovic, or whatever his name is, currently on the Hawks, injured right now. We had him at one point.
He would be a great player for you guys.
Yeah.
Spot up shooter. I mean, like, I think in terms of Jae Crowder as well, like, you've had a lot of players step up in his absence. So it's like, it's kind of diminished the necessity for having him on the team. I mean, look, we've mentioned it, like Dwayne Washington, Wainwright, like, you've had a lot of guys step in and kind of fill his shoes pretty easily. So it's like, I don't think he's a value to the, and it's not like, I don't know. Do you feel like there's like a sense of loss without him, like on the team, or if like he's a big loss, or like
a little bit? I can tell
that's
there's some nights where we could really use, because you mentioned it earlier. Maybe he's not the defensive player he once was, like guarding the Giannis's or LeBrons of the league, but the energy, man, the energy, even the rebounding a little bit. Like, I could go on and on about how I feel like rebounding is super important. The rebounding, the defense. You know what? Even if it was an attitude problem, like the locker room veteran presence, hell yeah, I agree that they're missing Jae Crowder right now.
There's definitely some teams out there who'd want
Oh,
him
yeah.
for those reasons you just said, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he is kind of notorious for those shooting slumps last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's funny because I swear to God, every game they would start the offense going through Jae Crowder, at least the first shot of the game they would. And he was really inconsistent with that. There were some games where he'd show up, but the Jae Crowder saga continues. And that's why I really wanted to get this off my chest. When I saw that article by the Ringer and Kevin O'Connor, I had to bring it up on tonight's show. So on that note, man,
these situations are the worst for fans because there's just like some like hopeless anticipation in a way, right? Because it's like, he's sitting out. When are we going to trade him? When are we going to trade him? And then
I'm checking my phone like every 10 minutes to see if we traded him, dude.
Whenever stuff like this happens, like it's toxic for fans because they just can't stop, you know, having a need for like knowing. It's like the end of like a murder mystery TV show. Like, who is it? Like, what's going to happen? You know?
And dude, like, I'm not saying these people don't have sources and they don't know people. Like, shout out to my guy Flex from Jersey. He's been right on a lot of things, especially the Chris Paul stuff. He called it before a lot of the bigger, you know, Woj and Shams called it. But anyways, it's just all of a sudden Jae Crowder this team's interested in Jae Crowder. Sources are telling me that, you know, Jae Crowder wants to go to I'm sick of it.
You know, as an NBA fan, that 90% of rumors are just BS. Like, you know,
it's either bullshit or it's like, I don't know, man. It's so frustrating.
Unless you're Rob Pelinka.
I don't even. Does Rob Pelinka even make trades?
No,
like,
it was just funny because when we had Brandon Ingram and Kuz in them, he was throwing offers to like the Spurs, like every team with a superstar, and they were all legit. He was literally just like, take my money, take everything. And it was legit. He was actually doing it. So it was really funny that was actually happening. That's just what I remember.
Do you feel like Rob Pelinka's really running the Lakers? Like, seriously?
Yes, I do. But I feel like he's always, he makes pressured impulse decisions to hold LeBron's legacy in check. That's what he does. Yeah. You know, he feels pressure to keep the team in the now and not the future. So he makes these impulse decisions that he like thinks will, I don't know. He's not the greatest.
And you know what? That's why your Lakers, with all due respect, are 5-11. So, and real quick, last thing on the Lakers, I'll say this. Somebody brought this up earlier. This was like a few days ago. They said something along the lines like the Lakers are going to have to win like 60% or more of their games to even be at 500 right now. When I heard that, I was like, it's over, dude. Like, there's no way this team's coming back. I mean, they could.
So very, very early in the season.
They could come back, but I'm like, I doubt it. Anyway.
I mean, it's still very, very early in the season. I don't want to make conclusions yet. Hopefully.
So before we get to our last segment of the show, and I promise we'll get out of here. This has been a great show, by the way. Thank you to everybody that's watching. Destroy that like button, you guys. If you're watching afterwards and you made it this far into the show, you guys are legends. Just real quick, I wanted to bring up Logan's comment. I don't expect a trade to happen until after December 15th. As he mentions, that's when more contracts and players can become available for trade. And then, so all I want for Christmas is Jae Crowder gone. So just had to bring that up. It's trade season's not even here, but it kind of feels like it because of all these rumors. So I just wanted to get to that real quick. So before we get out of here, Reliable, just any questions for me? Is there an NBA team you'd want to discuss? Any questions for me? Comments? Do you have a concern about a team? Do you see a lot of pretenders? I'm asking like a million questions. Like, let's talk NBA, man. Like, what do you got?
Let me gather some thoughts. We were talking about Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, I did want to get your thoughts on him, man. Like, do you think he's legit? Do you think it's all hype? I mean, social media, let's be real, dude. This guy's everywhere, bro. Overall, they're showing his games like every day.
Overall, I do think he's legit. But like, first of all, I'm going to make this straight. I'm good at predicting busts. I'm good at it. I'm not saying Victor is going to be a bust, but I'm just good at it. I did it Marco Fultz. I did it Dennis Smith Jr. I did it. I'm just good at it. The shots that he shoots, it's just really hard for me to see that be a consistent thing in the NBA unless he just goes out there and revolutionizes the game, which is very possible. You know, like what
Steph Curry did it.
You see, he's a 7'5", shooting a one-legged, left-footed, fading into the stands.
Yep.
Like, it's just hard for me to obviously people are going to go crazy because it's so flashy and it's amazing and it's ridiculous. And he's 7'11", like doing this shit. But it's just hard for me to think that type of play style is sustainable in the NBA. It's just hard for me to believe that. I still think he's going to be like ridiculous if he could stay healthy because everybody with that build can't stay healthy. Hence Chet Holmgren already injured.
That's what I was going to say, Chet Holmgren.
But it's like, it's so different, his play style. We've never seen anything like it. So when you don't see anything, like when it's something's new like that, like it's just hard to have 100% confidence in how it will hold up. You know, that's my thoughts. That's
a good perspective on it, you know, and let's be real. We've only seen the competition that's been in front of him, you know, which is what Euro. I don't even know what league. Yeah.
And the numbers he's putting up are ridiculous. Yeah. Like they're ridiculous.
Look, I don't know as much about Wemby. That's what I call him as you do. I'm not a draft expert as you are, in my opinion, but I will say this from what I have seen, the dude is pretty amazing. And physically he is a specimen.
Hot take.
He's absolutely insane. And yeah, the numbers are incredible. But I will say this, and you know me, I'm an NBA historian, man. The NBA is super physical, although the NBA doesn't allow you to touch players because it's a foul. But let's be real, though. It's a physical league, man. And that might take it so he's going to have to bulk up. But guess what? Giannis bulked up. Remember Giannis when he first came into the league? The dude was super scrawny, dude. But it's an 82 game or not 82 game season. And, but let's just, I don't know. I like what I see out of Wemby so far. I don't even know if we can compare him to a current player, past player. I am glad that you kind of brought this up, though, because I did want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, he's just so different. You don't know what to expect. But, like, in terms of his strength, like, I think his strength potential could be like KD. Like, KD's someone who's, like...
He was skinny, too, man, back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Wembanyama's not going to be able to get like Giannis. Yeah. At a 7'5" build, you can't get that bulky and strong unless you, like, take steroids. Like, I'm not a doctor, but, like, I could confidently say that, like, it's a 7'5" dude who's, like, ripped and, like, huge is, like, impossible at that, especially knowing his build right now. So I think his potential, like, strength-wise is like KD, like, still skinny, but has a lot of muscle. Like, KD came in skinny. KD's still skinny. Brandon Ingram's still skinny, but they have strength. Like, Wembanyama can get to that point, and that would help him a lot. But
you remember,
now, like, a twig.
You remember Manute Bol, the father of Bol? He played a decent amount of time in the league. Yeah. There's been, not every big man center was ginormous. You know what I mean? So it's possible.
You don't need to look strong to be strong.
Exactly. Yeah. But we'll have to see, man. I had to get your thoughts on that. This is sort of a weird year too. There's a lot of wonky records out there, a lot of pretenders. Just real quick before we get out of here, Sacramento Kings won 7 in a row. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. This team is on fire. I think I had a stat about them. The Kings entering the week are the highest scoring average, 121 per game, shooting 50% from the field. I don't know what numbers they put up tonight, but that team and that vibe right now is just absolutely incredible. I'm sure you've seen the light the beam memes. You know what I mean? The Kings are on fire. I just had to talk about them real quick. The NBA is crazy. Yeah. Did you see that clip?
Yeah, what were you going to say?
I said, did you see that clip of him like running during practice and all that? Did you see that? Nah, look it up, dude. It's hilarious. He's like running as he's a player, and then there was like some clip of him like screaming. Mike Brown is hilarious.
No, but it's funny. Like, I remember it was funny. The Kings hired him when he was filling in as head coach for the Warriors, and then after they hired him, Mike Brown went out and like coached like a 40-point blowout loss, and then everybody was like, "Oh shit." So it's good to see him, succeeding now. And then De'Aaron and Kevin Huerter have been unbelievable.
Kevin Huerter's been legit a underrated steal.
Kevin Durant talk about Huerter, like how he like had a whole segment. He was like, Kevin Huerter's like a splash brother, man. Like, it's crazy.
Kevin Huerter to the Nets confirmed. I'm just kidding. But real talk, he's been great for them, and they have a lot of players that they got a nice little culture going there, and a lot of solid players, a lot of young players too. Former Phoenix Sun Alex Len is on that team, so that's the reason they're winning right now. And you know what? I'm on the Kings bandwagon, man. I'm not going to lie. I think they are, on paper, they're going to make the playoffs, but they started off the season a little rough. Obviously, now they're playing a lot better. Yeah. It's a long fucking season.
They could be like the Magic 2 years ago when they win like 6 games in a row and then just bullshit the rest of the year. But they have superstar in their team in De'Aaron, so.
Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. All right. So before we get out of here, man, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? Tell me what's going on. Anything you want to plug, talk about just before we get out of here? What's going on, man?
Nothing abnormal, hosting a little party, family, all this stuff. Anything I want to plug? I mean, not really. It's just I don't upload on my main channel. I upload on this channel called Red Zone Rants. So if you like football, check that out.
Red Zone Rants.
Nothing really I want to plug. I'm happy to be here and just like talking basketball. It's my thing.
So when the Lakers somehow make the playoffs, you're going to join me for every show when we play.
Hey, every time we play each other. Honestly, I'll just come on, even if you just need someone on your stream. I'm here.
I'll take you up
need to
on
be
that,
against
man.
The Lakers.
It's a lot more fun because I was laughing my ass off tonight. It's a lot more fun when there's a guest on here, especially somebody who actually knows what they're talking about.
The OG gang back together.
Dude, we got to do it, man, soon. We got to schedule something where it's us three and we can just have a
Absolutely.
freaking blast. But
I
real
miss
talk,
that,
man. Thank you for being here. This was a great show. I'm gonna clip a lot of this stuff and upload it because we had a lot of great discussions tonight. And thank you to everybody in the chat. I do apologize if I missed like a comment or question, but thank you for everybody that's in here. Thanks for all the support, everybody. Believe it or not, Reliable, I don't know if you've seen, I'm actually on TikTok now. I'm a TikToker.
I have
and
seen it.
and I freaking love it, man. It's so fun to upload there.
I always see it. Sunskeek Brandon.
Thank you, man. So seriously, follow me there, you guys. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. Thank God Twitter didn't go away. Elon Musk is a complete troll. But anyways, appreciate you guys watching. Thank you guys so much. And do me a favor, Hulk smash that like button. Please subscribe for everything Phoenix Suns. I know I say this after every show. I know there's a lot of great Suns content out there, but the fact that you guys continue to watch me and support me is absolutely amazing. So thank you guys so much for all your support. And yeah, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. We won't see you. I don't know when I'm going to go live next, but the Suns are off for 2 games. So we will see you after Thanksgiving. Have a blessed and safe Thanksgiving. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.